So how about we just start this video off with a quote? Don't pray for an easy life, but pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. I don't actually know who said that. I mean, some people say it was like JFK, but then also some people say like JFK got it from Reverend Philip Brooks. I don't know who that is, I'll be honest, but either way, the message is still relevant and it's still very powerful, which is just don't wish for an easier life, but wish for the strength to take on a difficult one. So let's just start with the fact that we can all agree on. There will always be problems in life, and I mean, you can't just have no problems. But here's the thing about always having problems in life. There's always something to work towards. Even people who have the most seemingly perfect life, they still have problems. Maybe they're not as bad as yours. They actually, you know what? They definitely aren't as bad as yours. But they still have problems that they gotta deal with. So with that said, the hope is that you become stronger through these problems so that when you deal with them in the future, you're stronger, because when you deal with problems and you handle them one by one, it's kind of like XP in the video game. You just get a little bit better at handling them in the future because you're just stronger. And what's kind of nice about this is that it's like a positive feedback cycle. When you get really good at solving problems and you just solve them one by one, and then the future problems, they just come at you and they're so much easier to deal with. It's like when you deal with something that's really hard and then you have to do it again. Yeah, it's still a pain in the ass, but it's just a little bit easier because you've already done it before. But just keep in mind that this feedback cycle, it can also be a negative one too. It's not always positive. If you choose to avoid problems, then those problems will just compound on top of each other and you just get like a giant stack of problems that are just kind of looming over your life, and it's just like a source of anxiety that you don't want to have to deal with. But then the problem is that by not dealing with it, these problems just keep on coming, and you can see how it just feeds into itself. It's just a horrible cycle to be in. You won't be ready to handle all of these problems that come at you if you don't face the ones that you currently have right now. Basically what I'm telling you is when you avoid your problems, they just get worse. I think you already knew this one. Now I think this was already a given, but I think it's just good to bring it up. Now let's go back to the main point of this video. Life does not get easier. Well, when you get older, you get problems, right? I mean, as you said, like as you age, you just get more problems in your life. And the thing is, these problems change. Like think about when you're like 6 years old. What is your biggest problem? Probably like you want to play with your favorite toy or something, but it's just you can't right now because you gotta go to school. Like, I don't know, like that's such a different problem compared to like a 30-year-old where you have to make money so that you can pay your mortgage off because you don't want to be homeless. Those are very different problems, but the thing is, we still have problems. We just have different problems as we get older. This means that you're always solving problems as you age, and your life really doesn't get easier, but you just hope that the problems you face do get easier. That's the difference. It's how two 25-year-olds living in a similar situation can have completely different problems, even though they grew up in the same place and they, you know, all these things are very similar, but you can still have different problems. One just has better problems because they chose to take different decisions in life, or maybe they chose to handle their problems head on, and then now their new problems aren't as bad. You get the point, right? So with that said, your problems, they never really go away. You're simply trading your problems for better problems. And that's honestly the best probably situation you can have in life. You can't just solve all your problems and then you're problem free and life is perfect. If it really were that simple, holy shit, man, like, well then why are people who are seemingly super successful also extremely depressed? If you're that successful and so perfect, then why are you depressed? That's, I don't want to go too deep into this because, well, I just don't feel like I'm certified to talk about this kind of stuff, but what I'm trying to say is you're still gonna have problems. You're just hoping that these problems aren't so bad. I want to dive into this topic in a different video because I don't want to get too off topic, but it'll be something along the lines of the goal of life is to have better problems, and that is true, but I'll save that for a different chat. But the key point is that life does not get easier. You only get stronger. That's good. Let's just throw an example in here because I think I just like using examples when I'm explaining these kinds of concepts, but let's use money. When you're young, money just doesn't really matter that much. Now, I'm going to make a few assumptions. I'm going to assume you grew up in like a first world country like Canada, the US, and money is not something that you really had to think about by the age of like, I don't know, 8 to 12 or something, like let's say in like elementary school or something. When you're young, just at that age, money is not an issue. It's not something you think about at all. But over time, as you get older, as you get to your teenage life, your early adult life, that's where money is an issue that you actually have to deal with. And it's something that never goes away, unfortunately. Now, maybe you're like a millionaire or something and you grew up in a really very rich family, you know, even then, you still have to think about money to some extent. I mean, obviously, if you have a inheritance and like a trust fund, money problems aren't going to be that much of an issue for you. But let's stick to more everyday people who don't have extremely rich parents. You need to learn how to make money so that you can survive. You can buy food, you can pay for rent, you can live a life you actually want to live. Because if you don't learn how to deal with money problems, well, you're kind of going to struggle as you get to your adult life. If you don't learn how to handle money, the problem of money early on, you're going to struggle. Or worse, if you avoid the problem of just handling money altogether, you could end up in a worse situation like being homeless. In either situation though, the fact remains is that you are in charge of this problem. No one's telling you how to handle the problem. No one's telling you how to make money or how to deal with your money or how to handle money or anything like that, but we're all in the same problem. If you are in your mid-20s, like, I'm 25 years old now, it's just all 25-year-olds around me are all concerned about money. It's just a thing. It's something we have to live through, right? It's a problem. But again, this problem is not going to get easier. You're only going to get more creative and stronger in ways of dealing with this problem. If you have more money than someone else, chances are you are better at dealing with the problem of money. But it doesn't mean that the problem of money got easier. You just got stronger. All right, well, I hope you get the point of what I'm trying to say in this whole video. And basically, the whole takeaway of this video is learn to deal with your problems head on and as fast as you can. I mean, don't put things off. One thing I like to remember is if you don't deal with a problem today, then tomorrow you're going to have to deal with it. What's the difference between today and tomorrow? Well, nothing really. It's just a passage of time. You're still going to be dealing with that problem come that time. And this is for like anything really, even like non-trivial things. Like, I like to meal prep for tomorrow. Well then, okay, that's a little problem. I mean, obviously it's a tiny problem, but you just have to deal with it now so that you don't have to deal with it tomorrow. Or you don't deal with it today and guess what? Now you don't have food for tomorrow. You gotta cook. I think I'm starting to get a little derailed here, so maybe I'll shut up before I get way too far off topic, but I like exploring this kind of idea because it's something that we all face. And I don't even know if this video even taught anything valuable, but maybe I just want it to be a reminder that, you know what, if you have something you got to deal with, let's say, I think a good takeaway in this video is if you have something that you got to deal with and it takes less than 5 minutes, go do it. Go make your bed, go brush your teeth, go meal prep for tomorrow. Something really easy and quick that you could just do. And you do that every day and future you will thank you. And again, that didn't make your life easier. You just got stronger and more resilient at dealing with the problems as they came to you. All right, I'm going to stop talking before I repeat myself, but also drop a like and a sub.